Hello and welcome to Cindershadow Gaming. I'm your host Cindershadow and this is This Week in Magic. Well, I gotta say, Strixhaven spoilers are something else to be holden to, or whatever you want to call it. There's some crazy broken cards, but this is not the video for crazy broken cards. This is the debacle of a set that has gone off the rails. This set is complete and utter. It's a complete and utter waste of my time, your time, and everyone else's, because Wizards of the Coast has turned around and obviously shown that they don't honestly care about their own product. There is so many issues with this set. It's no longer the meme, and it's become just really disappointing. And I, for one, I'm quite upset to see the amount of mistakes, simple mistakes, things that continue to plague this card game and this industry that Wizards of the Coast has birthed. There was a time where I took very good pride in wanting to play this game. I was called a nerd, I was called a geek, I was bullied, and now it continues to go forward that this game is starting to show signs that it really doesn't care if I happen to go through all that with my life. And it's now at the point where it's gone off the rails and something needs to happen. I don't know if it's Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast, but somebody needs to fix these situations. This is the most egregious set I've seen for mistakes in my life. I've never seen so many mistakes in one set. And we're going to go over them today because that's what This Week in Magic is all about this week, is the mistakes of Strixhaven. Well, the first mistake is the delays continue. We've seen this with set again. COVID is being blamed for this, but there was already supply chain issues before the pandemic happened, before these things were going on. It's just to a point where product is just delayed, and it's become the norm in all industries. It's not just Magic the Gathering. So they still bring out these product delays time and time again, and this one came out yesterday. The availability and timing of select Strixhaven School of Maging projects are revised for the following locations: Australia, New Zealand, and Thailand. Unfortunately, due to shipping delays, the Strixhaven School of Mages pre-release will now be combined with the release date of April 23rd. I don't know if this has anything possibly to do with the tanker trailer that kind of blocked a canal under the name of some spruce tree. Yeah, I just don't know. Additionally, for Thailand, Strixhaven School of Mages bundles will release approximately mid-May. United States and Canada, due to an unexpected production issue, some Strixhaven School of Mages draft boosters and Japanese language set boosters will be delayed. These products are not limited releases, and we are looking forward to making available release on April 23rd. If they're not a limited release, where's our Jumpstart? Jumpstart is still, it was said it was being printed at a standard set, and it's nowhere close to that. We have seen Allosaurus Shepherd in particular. The card went from just about $100 to almost $200 because of the product problems that they had with Jumpstart, and these are plaguing the game, and it's continuing to happen. Crux of Fate, we've seen that there was some plagiarism with, or some copying of some fan art that ended up there. I have videos on this. I'm not going to cover that into full details. They made a statement about it with the artist, Jason Felix. They're no longer going to be working with them. And if you're wondering which card that is, here is the Crux of Fate card with the Nicobolus and Ugin fighting and all this other stuff. And we will get into that a little bit later in the video. There has been some egregious mistakes with this set of Strixhaven, and it's not even out yet. Like, we're not even done all the spoilers, so there might even be more that show up. But today I'm going to run down the mistakes that we've seen with the set. And you know, the least of the mistakes, honestly, is a art perspective. People have a different set of art and different eyes for art when it comes down to it. But when you print a card like Fateless Looting in this type of artwork, and everyone that I know personally and thousands of people in many different communities are saying, is this a joke? To me, that's a glaring mistake, and a mistake that could have been easily solved in the eyes of the art director. And that was something, I don't completely blame them, but this doesn't look like a Magic card, and anyone would have known that just by looking at it and said, this does not look like a Magic card. It does not look like the product that we've known for years, 27 years now. And honestly, when people sit there and go, is this an April Fool's joke? And you have to sit there and explain to them, no, it's not. It's one of those mistakes that I think could have been easily rectified, maybe with some other artwork. The artist does decent work. It just, this really does not work for a Magic the Gathering card. The next mistake I have is just a visual one. It's not something they've come out and said that this one is being printed properly. So I'm going to show you two versions of the same card, the normal version and the full art version, and maybe you can pick out the mistake that they did. And this is on visual sites. So this is Journey to the Oracle. It is a sorcery. You may put any number of land cards from your hand onto the battlefield. Then if you control 8 or more lands, you may discard a card. If you do, return Journey of Oracle to owner's hand. And the full art version looks as so. Do you guys really see the difference here? Like, I'll go over them one more time just to give you an idea. So the difference here is in the mana cost. This was a visual thing. This is from the release of it, that the manual, the mana value or mana cost for the card was incorrect. You have 2 green and 2 generic, where on the full art version you have 2 green and 1 generic. The Wizards did come out in a Twitter post saying that this is only a visual problem, not a problem with printing. Printing will still show the 4 mana value casting cost. So we'll have to wait and watch that one and see if they maybe did squeak a few of these through that are the wrong mana costs. It is only on the full art versions of the card. Now, the next mistake we saw with Strixhaven, they actually made a statement about it, and I didn't even realize this. Understandably, because I read and write and speak English, I do not speak Japanese. You know, there's a few words that I know, but nothing crazy. I don't read it or anything like that. But there's a statement on Mystical Archive cards, Msi and Memory Lapse. I'm horrible with names. It has come to our attention that the Japanese alternate art on the cards, Msi and Memory Lapse, from the Strixhaven School of Mages Mystical Archive were swapped during the development process. How does this keep happening? So this one and this one. That's the Memory Lapse with the ephemerate artwork on it. And that is the other way around. These 2 Japanese cards are swapped in the artwork. It is the incorrect artwork on the incorrect card. This is 2 glaring mistakes. Honestly, I wouldn't even realize this if it hadn't come out, because it is in a different language. But many Japanese players probably came out and said, why does this artwork make no sense? And I'm pretty sure I saw some posts about some stuff saying some of the artwork for these Mystical Archive cards don't make sense, and this is one of those cases. And this is probably what they were pointing to in that one little off tangent that I saw. So this is another mistake. This is mistake 3 and 4. I count it as 2 because it's 2 cards. It's just, it goes on and on and on. Now, Crux of Fate it's an unfortunate detail that someone did use their fan art in this. The biggest glaring mistake, though, on Crooks of Fate isn't the fact that it was stolen art, that someone plagiarized it. It's the fact that in this case, the art director didn't notice Bolas had 5 fingers. This is a mistake on a lore aspect and a art direction. The art director should have been able to recognize this, because Nicol Bolas and Ugin are both very well-known characters. So that type of mistake of having 5 fingers on his hand right in the middle of the card should have done some warning signs, and then maybe we wouldn't have had this mistake in the first place. But ultimately, I didn't even realize that myself. I don't think Wizards of the Coast is really at fault here. I think this one solely goes on to the artist, and hopefully things do really settle down from that. And if you guys do want to check those videos out, there's 3 videos altogether. The start, the middle, and the end, much like a saga in Magic the Gathering. It's got 3 parts to it, so do check out those videos on my channel down below. Okay, now we're getting on to a glaring mistake. It is being printed as such. This is a giant mistake and will probably go down in another history book. So we have Augmented Pugilist. It's 2 green and 1 generic for a 3/3 trample. As long as you control 8 or more lands, Augmented Pugilist gains +5/+5. This is the backside of a card. I'm not going to cover the other side of the card because there is a glaring problem with this card. And from the full art to the normal printed version, there is a big mistake. I don't know if you guys can see it right away. If you look at the creature type, is it a troll? Is it an elf? We know it's a druid. And the last mistake I know of so far is on Zafi Thunder Conductor. I covered this in its own video. Ah, man, like, how many mistakes are there in one set? I've never seen so many mistakes in a set in my life. I've seen things go wrong. We had Summer Magic, which was a mistake in itself, but then they scrapped that and things were supposed to be destroyed, and then it made it in market. So they used to do things where they would just take the set and throw it out and start over, but they don't do that anymore because paper costs have gone through the roof. So has lumber cost and wood and everything else like that. But if you don't know the mistake on Thunder Conductor, he's a blue, a red, and 2 generic 1/4 human shaman. He has Magecraft. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery spell, scry 1. If that spell's mana value is 5 or greater, create a 4/4 blue and red elemental creature token. If that spell's mana value is 10 or greater. Safi's Thunder Collector, not the Conductor, the Collector, does 10 points of damage at random to an opponent chosen at random. Really? Like, Conductor and Collector, that's a pretty egregious and pretty difficult one to not catch. Like, this goes to show me that there's no proofreading. There's so many more things going on at Wizards of the Coast. I think they're in hot water with a lot of things right now. It really does seem that something's gone off the rails at Wizards of the Coast, and I really do hope they can rein this in and fix them. From curling foils to product quality that just doesn't meet the standards of what a product should be. There is so many glaring mistakes in this set. It makes you question, what else are they doing? It makes you question, are they actually paying attention to what they're doing? They're like, how many people are on? I can imagine them gaining an actual department position at Hasbro. They've gained so many more employees and can actually look at these problems. Is this a situation that they're not paying their employees enough for them to actually care about the quality of the work? Like, I don't get any of this. I know it drives me insane when I'm at my work and there's a small little flaw in the work I've done. I sit there and I try and fix it to the best of my abilities. Sometimes these mistakes do happen, but at the same time, you try your damnedest to make sure they don't, and you try as much as possible to correct the mistakes as you can do them. Now, when these things are going to print, Is it getting a second, a third, a fourth look? How many actual cards in this set? The main set has 275 cards, but then add in all the mystical archives, which I think is another 63, and then add in the commander decks. We're talking about 400 cards here. Ultimately, we've seen sets up to like 380 cards before, and they don't nearly go this poorly. There's just so many more different details here. I wouldn't be surprised if we start opening packs and there is cards that are shuffled in there wrong, incorrectly. Things are going to be upside down, backwards. You're going to open a pack up and there will be a black hole that comes out of it. Like, this is where we're going with the product. And if they can't get the simple things right, they obviously cannot continue with the way things are going right now. Standard's a mess, Modern's a mess. The whole game is a complete disaster right now, and they continue to push everything forward. How much more do we need to sit there and look and go, you guys need to fix this. You need to step back, take a second and pause at what you're doing and actually focus on the real stuff in the game. So one last thing of note here, probably a channel update at this point. I don't know how many of these videos I can upload. I don't know what's going to happen here in the future. Things seem to be off the rails with also my service provider. I have been dealing and fighting with them night after night after night in attempts to live stream. And last night was one of the worst cases of customer service I have dealt with my service provider to date. The tech support that I was on the line with, I was there for over 3 hours. I lost all hope of internet last night, where I was going to try and live stream for you guys, probably some games, just have a good old time, playing games, having fun, doing whatever we do, and I just can't do it. We've also seen recently, yesterday, Arena was just, I was trying to live stream Arena, and Arena couldn't even handle anything. The servers were having problems. They apparently addressed that issue also on the server side. So hopefully that is fixed. But with my ISP, I was told that last night one of the service techs decided to do something, put my account on suspension. It just paused my account. And this was a mistake by the service tech, and it continues to snowball out of control. So I'm hoping things do normalize. I've tried to do everything in my power to try and fix it on my end, and it just looks like it's going to continue that. So hopefully I can live stream again very soon. I hope to see you guys then. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for being here, everything like that. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you guys want to help out the channel. There is links down below for channel memberships, Patreon, and more. So do check those out. Until next time, we'll catch you on the flip side. I don't know. I really don't know where else to go with this. Thanks for watching. We'll check you later.